Solar system, Mars. This was an extremely dry, desert-like planet. And now, a jet-black disc-shaped universe spaceship was inside a deep hole with a diameter of a few hundred meters. This spaceship was one of Luo Feng's reserve spaceships, which now became Luo Feng's headquarters during his temporary stay on Mars. Inside the gigantic resting room of the spaceship, a long rectangular dark blue, nutrition cabin lay within. The entire nutrition cabin was 21.6 meters long and 8.3 meters wide. The main body of it was dark blue. At the same time, on the metallic surface were a lot of complicated flower markings and a few simple buttons. An E-grade nutrition cabin, the highest quality nutrition cabin in all of the human races of the universe. Just the price reaches $86 billion universe dollars, which is equivalent to 3 or 4 galaxies that are a bit desolate. The dark blue metal on the surface is a F8 grade metal comparable to the hybrid copper essence, bluestone essence, which is extremely expensive. Of course, the weapon that Luo Feng uses, the hybrid copper essence shard, even though it's small, also has an astonishing price because of its craftsmanship. It is valuable in its edge. To make an extremely tough metal like the hybrid copper essence into something sharp, is an extremely difficult task. The higher the grade of a metal, the harder it is to work with. The hybrid copper essence is something that even an undying being can only make a small mark on after punching it. Back then, the master of Yun Mo planet indeed sacrificed a lot to make his spaceship into the shape of a sharp triangle. This is why the Yun Mo planet spaceship is so powerful. Because of the bluestone essence surface, even an undying being will need a lot of time to break this nutrition cabin. Inside the cabin, a young, black-haired youth with a naked body that was essentially perfect lay within the dark grey nutritional liquid. Energy filled with the force of life swiftly swept into his body through each of the pores in his skin. The energy containing the force of life immediately triggered the transformation of the genes after his cells absorbed it. A ton of nutritional liquid could purchase over 100 universe-level slaves and over 10,000 life planets. His hair continuously grew longer, his skin became more crystalline, his bones became tougher, his muscles became denser, his battle ability amplifier rose. Turn off, Luo Feng commanded the AI in the nutrition cabin. The nutritional liquid steadily decreased and became empty. It was also extremely dry. Waves of high-pressured heat wiped across Luo Feng's body like a towel. After that, the nutrition cabin automatically added in water to rinse off Luo Feng's body, and then finally dried it again. Luo Feng stood up and leaped out of the nutrition cabin, which was 3 meters tall. At the same time, a deep red battle uniform set automatically formed on his body, and battle boots around his feet. His battle boots stepped onto the alloyed floor of the spaceship. This nutrition cabin, just what you would expect from an E-grade nutrition cabin. Its effects are indeed amazing. Luo Feng's eyes glowed as he looked at the dark green nutrition cabin in front of him. No matter how effective it is, your body needs to catch up with it. After laying in the nutrition cabin for nearly half a month, you have to rest for at least half a month before you can enter it again. Oh yeah, Luo Feng, how is your 10,000 blade soul seal going? A nonchalant voice reverberated across the spaceship. It was the living AI Babata. I can cast out 226 soul seal blades simultaneously, said Luo Feng. Of course Luo Feng won't relax on his 10,000 blade soul seal training. Since the only way to cast the slave seal is by completing most of the 10,000 blade soul seal. And by doing so, he'll finally have made a tiny bit of progress on the path of the soul seal. Too slow, still a long way to go until you can cast 10,000 soul seal blades, and don't even mention merging all 10,000 into one, yelled Babata loudly. I understand, smiled Luo Feng. After half a month of evolution and bitter spiritual force training, Luo Feng was very tired. He walked out of the universe spaceship, flew out the deep hole, and arrived at the surface of Mars. The cold, red gravel extended into the horizon. Sandstorms charging towards the sky could be seen in the distance. Luo Feng, who was completely covered in his cloud contact battle uniform set, gazed at the land. Suddenly, a gigantic image swiftly approached from the raging sandstorm in the distance. This was a gigantic monster that was as large as a mountain. Its body was covered in black scales. Its 2 horns which pierced towards the sky were covered in golden engravings. Its neck and back were also covered in golden engravings. Wu, the golden-horned beast in the distance roared towards the sky. Its cold eyes looked towards the human Luo Feng in the distance. Luo Feng also looked towards the golden horned beast in the distance. It's time to break through to the universe level, Luo Feng frowned. The golden horned beast's body and his human body can appear in the outer world at the same time, or one of the bodies can appear in the outer world alone, or neither of them. When both bodies aren't in the outer world, then, the core will appear in the outer world. No matter what, the core must be in the outer world. It cannot enter the inner world. As for the bodies, whether the golden horned beast body or the human body, they can be repaired no matter how damaged they are. Because to Luo Feng, the core of his life is the core that contains his soul. Of course, the core is his weak point. Luo Feng wouldn't dare to leave his core outside. That would be asking for death. In the battle before, the only reason his human body hid in the inner world while the golden horned beast appeared was because Luo Feng didn't want anyone to discover the relationship between his human body and the golden horned beast. As of now, since a defense system has been installed throughout the entire solar system, he definitely doesn't have to worry about anyone discovering that he and the golden horned beast are on Mars. The universe level. It's time to break through. Luo Feng shook his head and waved his hand. All types of valuable metal appeared on the ground. Luo Feng then transformed into a flowing light as he flew towards the universe spaceship in the distance. However, the mountain-like body of the golden horned beast lay on the desert ground. It extended its claw to cover the pile of metal. Space warped, and the pile of metal shrunk and then disappeared within the golden horned beast's palm. Mars was as quiet as always. It had 2 extra living beings. One of them was the human hiding in the spaceship, while the other one was the space beast laying on the ground of the desert. Time passed day by day. Even though Luo Feng was anxious, he could only wait. Time in China, the 26th of December 2063. On this day, beneath the surface of a certain area of the desert in Mars lay a golden horned beast. Ow! A thick sound filled with excitement echoed around the sky. Boom! A human image swiftly flew out of the spaceship and hovered in midair. He looked at the area where the golden horned beast lay and was filled with happiness. The inner world finally broke through. Inside the inner world of the golden horned beast, the continent, which was covered in a golden mist, was gigantic. Its length and width was 90 kilometers long. However, at this moment, the entire world was shaking violently. The originally spread out golden mist crazily flowed across the entire continent, which caused the golden continent to crazily absorb the mist and crazily expand. Its length and width expanded continuously, and its height continued to expand. This caused the continent to become thicker. The golden mist dramatically shrunk. In return, the golden continent expanded continuously. A jaw-dropping expansion. In just a few short hours, this continent went from a length and width of 90 kilometers, to a length and width of 1,000 kilometers. Its area expanded by around 100 times. The center of the golden horned beast is its core. And the core of its core is the inner world. The golden horned beast swallows large amounts of metal to make the inner world expand and become more perfect. Only by expanding its inner world can the golden horned beast break through. As of now, from a length and width of 90 kilometers, it broke past the length and width of 1,000 kilometers in an extremely short amount of time. Its inner world has completely transformed. Rumble. Deep within the desert of Mars, without the suppression of the inner world, the golden horned beast that has been stuck at the peak of the star level 9 stage finally began its transformation. With an extremely excited howl, the golden horned beast's body slowly began to expand. Its bones and scales became tougher and harder. A third horn even began to appear on its forehead. The armor-like golden engravings covering most of its body also began to let out a mysterious glow, which continuously seeped into the body of the golden horned beast. Inside the core, in a gigantic tower which basically covered the entire surrounding space, 9 unbelievably hot fireballs were following a peculiar trail as they orbited around each other and formed a natural, unusual structure. This was the physical structure of Luo Feng's soul. Without the suppression from the inner world, the 9 fireballs that have long reached their limit instantly started to absorb the pure energy within the universe. As they absorbed, the 9 fireballs started to vibrate and expand. Rumble. Within an instant, all the energy in the space in the sky above Mars had been crazily absorbed, forming a scary whirlpool of energy. Such an astonishing level of energy caused the 9 mini-stars to swiftly expand. In just moments, their area expanded by 10 times. The 9 fireballs were still vibrating. At the same time, the largest star reached its limit in expansion. Peng! The largest star ferociously exploded. Peng, 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 peng. The other 8 mini-stars exploded one by one. After they surpassed their limit, they exploded, forming countless star pieces. Even a large nebula was formed. After a long time, everything went silent. In the core, the large amounts of nebulae, stardust, star clusters, and extremely small planets formed a gigantic spiral galaxy. The mini-stars were most common within the very center of this gigantic spiral galaxy, tens of millions of them. At the same time, the entire spiral galaxy had 8 spiral arms. However, there was an extremely tiny black area within the dense center of the spiral galaxy. Over there was the first black hole of the entire spiral galaxy. This mini black hole was slowly swallowing the stars and space dust around it. At the same time, at a place that cannot be reached, it generated slivers of pure energy. The mist-like spiritual force seemed to appear out of thin air as it appeared in the surroundings of the gigantic spiral, causing a layer of light to cover the entire galaxy. What formed this bright, mysterious mist-like energy was indeed what universe-level spirit readers rely on: spiritual force. An extremely pure spiritual force. The golden horned beast has officially stepped into the universe level. On the desolate Mars, deep underground, Luo Feng's face was flushed with excitement, swiftly piercing underground, breaking through to the universe level. That's the real mark of becoming a real strong warrior, as the most elite bloodline in the entire universe, entering the universe level. Only then can the golden horned beast actually unleash its true potential. Luo Feng vanished completely as he entered his internal world. Even though its body had become much bigger, with its length exceeding 1 kilometer, from the tip of its 3 horns, head portion, neck, continuous back, wings, 4 claws, tails. All of these had golden engravings on the scales since its birth, and now they were all glimmering. The dreamy golden domain engulfed the golden horned beast's entire surroundings. This is a domain. Luo Feng's soul could clearly feel that peculiar form of energy. This only happened when it just broke through to the universe level. With the help of the natural engravings and energy, spirit reading, genetic energy, willpower, physical body, they all naturally reached an incredible and harmonious state. The energies all began to fuse, and the golden energy that resulted from that actually affected the surrounding space. It's as described in the bloodline inheritance. The golden horned beast, even when it eats or sleeps, with its natural growth, will still naturally gain a domain, and it would constantly evolve, 1 layer, 2 layers until 9 layers, and finally breaking through to having its own world energy, stepping into the sector lord level. Even to the point of reaching the universe origin laws of gold, reaching the pinnacle of sector lords. The inheritance memories, indeed, not lacking at all. It's too heavenly. Luo Feng's excitement surged. The difference was aggravating. Humans compared to the space beasts, the most elite of the bloodlines, and the one above them all, the golden horned beast, that was even more aggravating. Owning a domain was hard. Like Hong and Thunder God, who were either masters of martial arts or yoga masters, these two experienced a lot during the Great Nirvana period before finally being able to break through the levels of martial arts and yoga, reaching the pinnacle of harmonious fusion, before finally attaining their domains. And the golden horned beast, as the pinnacle bloodline of the vast universe, was set to achieve the universe origin laws and become the pinnacle of sector lords just from reaching maturity. What are you satisfied about? What are you excited about? Hong and Thunder God had their domains when they were at the Star Traveler level. You only attained it after reaching the universe level, and you were excited and content. As for the laws, that battle arena Hanks and Genji's fight, that Hanks was even able to realize a little about the universe origin laws. Also, last time within the slaughterhouse, you and Thunder God were both easily defeated by a white-robed lady. That white-robed lady was only star level 1, and she could already feel the laws. There are many geniuses among the human race in the universe. What are you so proud of? Talent doesn't mean that your achievements will be high. The inheritance passed down from generation to generation for the golden horned beast, there have been many of them in history. However, their achievements and levels have all been greatly different. Some golden horned beasts just bank on their inheritance and reach the pinnacle of sector lords, living out their lifespans and dying. Other golden horned beasts rely totally on their talents and waste their lifespans. Only through experiencing setbacks will one realize and work hard and train. However, as the time wasted before was too long, many have been unable to become undying beings. Only very few golden horned beasts realize early enough that talent is just one side of it, hard work was important too. Only these golden horned beasts will actually train techniques like absolute space and 9-layer space ripping to a high level, and eventually stepping into the undying level. And some golden horned beast undying even create new techniques and become the heroes of the entire race. Sector Lord Pinnacle. Undying. Absolute peak even amongst the undying. Which do you want to become? If you only want to reach the pinnacle of Sector Lords, then just play around every day. Back in the Pacific Ocean when you risked it all and gambled to possess the golden horned beast body, it was already set for you to become the pinnacle of Sector Lords. It's not hard at all for you. Wanting to become an undying? Then you have to be incredibly hard-working. An absolute warrior even amongst the undying, stronger than your teacher. That requires hard work, ferocity, comprehension etc. All the elements. Which do you choose? Babata berated Luo Feng, causing him to realize and awaken. What he said was indeed correct. Hong and Thunder God had their domains when they were in the Star Traveler level. Back then he was easily defeated by the white-robed lady, a Star Level 1 who already understood the laws. In terms of talent, maybe humans couldn't be compared to the golden horned beast. However, the amount of human races in the universe were too many. With such numbers, this meant that the amount of geniuses with incredible comprehension was extremely high too. The golden horned beast's talents are heavenly by themselves. I have to compare myself with the pinnacle of geniuses amongst the human race in the universe. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Golden horned beast. There have been many generations of golden horned beasts. I want to become the strongest of them all. Luo Feng felt a surge in ambition. The beast's large golden pupils gleamed with golden light. My teacher back then actually managed to possess a long-key youth's body. I actually managed to get a golden horned beast's body. My teacher relied on himself and created the soul imprint technique. I have the golden horned beast and the Yunmo planet's techniques, all of their information. Talent, information, I have everything. Willpower, I have it too. Comprehension, I'm not too bad. I have everything. Then my most basic point will be reaching the undying level first, after which, becoming an absolute warrior amongst the undying. Stronger than even the undying that killed my teacher. Luo Feng looked to the future with anticipation. The golden horned beast lay underground on Mars, with its entire body covered in scales and on them the peculiar engravings. This made the golden horned beast which had calmed down emit a peculiar ripple of energy. This was a kind of ripple from the vast universe. However, this ripple seemed to be covered and obscured by layers and layers of gauze, making it very hard and tedious for Luo Feng to feel it completely. However, this alone made Babata very shocked because under normal circumstances, only after reaching an 8 or 9 layer domain will one be able to vaguely feel these ripples. And Luo Feng, who only had a 1-layer domain, was already able to sense it somewhat. Golden horned beast, it could feel the origin laws in the internal world, the golden continent, that universe origins ripple. It seems it became clearer within. Time passed like flowing water. 1 month after another. In the later days, the first batch of Earth's migrants formed the 5 great countries summed up to about 80,000 people. Luo Feng had bought a planet called Jade Rainbow Star within the Silver Blue Empire galaxy, and it had about 100 million natives. This first batch of Earth's humans were arranged to be sent there. Once the arrangements were all settled, Luo Feng immersed himself deep in his training. His human body was focused on the 10,000 blade soul imprint, also spending time and energy on the soaring shuttle. As for the golden horned beast, it was completely immersed in the domain and laws. In a flash, it was already year 2065. 2 years had passed. China year 2065, October 25th, Luo Feng's training grounds on Mars. Within the universe ship's spacious study, a dark green nutrition cabin was placed there. Suddenly, the doors opened and a human body. A full nude human body with 3 inches of black short hair, a man. Luo Feng quickly put on a layer of armor and boots and flew out of the nutrition cabin. 2 years of work, finally stepping into the star level 7. Luo Feng smiled. This E-grade nutrition cabin is indeed not bad. How's your training on the spatial techniques? Babata's voice resounded within the ship. No headway. Luo Feng shook his head. The spatial techniques are too hard. I haven't made any progress at all. 2 years ago in the world within a world, Luo Feng began working on the 10,000 blade soul imprint. This technique belonged to the Yunmo planet soul imprint techniques as was one of the more basic ones. It still however took more than a year, close to 2, for Luo Feng to make a big step with it. Training the 10,000 blade soul imprint made the training of the slave soul imprint much easier to achieve. And during this time, Babata had passed Luo Feng another technique, saying this, Luo Feng, even though your teacher didn't fully comprehend the origin laws of space, he still made huge achievements with the space laws. Even to the point of traveling through dark universes and being able to shroud them and camouflage. This, even amongst the undying, only very few can do that. Even though you have the golden horned beast, however you can only feel the origin laws of gold now. What's more, the space laws are originally the hardest law in the universe to feel and comprehend, just like the time laws, they are the 2 deepest and hardest laws in the universe. Hence, right now you've had a little step in the soul imprint, the 10,000 blade soul imprint and slave soul imprint has succeeded. You even have your own domain. You can barely begin to feel the spatial techniques, start from the simplest, the spatial techniques, right from the entrance, every step will be tedious and hard. However, you've trained in the golden horned beast's absolute space, maybe that'll make your entrance into this spatial technique somewhat easier. Work hard. The origin laws are the main path. The origin laws of gold, you can let the golden horned beast train. The spatial techniques will be your future main training. Babata was filled with anticipation before. He thought that with the golden horned beast's talents, it should be easier. But what a pity, after months of training, nothing was achieved. Even the entrance wasn't reached, accurately speaking, he never even touched the door. Babata, this spatial technique, the entrance alone is incomparably tough. Luo Feng said, don't get discouraged, if a few months won't do, then take a few years. If a few years won't do, then take decades and hundreds of years. Take your time. Babata smiled, maybe I was too demanding, the spatial techniques, normally only sector lords would find it easier to train. However, the earlier you succeed, the stronger it will be later. Understood. Luo Feng nodded. Right, Luo Feng. The army from the Nuolan Shan family, according to time calculation, should reach within the next 10 days. Including discrepancies and errors, the universe ship may still very likely appear in the solar system in the next few days. Babata reminded. Nuolan Shan family. Luo Feng smiled, I've been waiting for them for too long. 2 years 8 months ago, they had already known about the Nuolan Shan family passing through the wormhole, headed towards Earth. With so much time, Luo Feng had made ample preparations. Full of confidence, Babata's mocking voice resounded within the universe ship, right, Luo Feng, it's time we return to Earth. No rush. Luo Feng shook his head, the golden horned beast is currently training deity of the world, it can't stop at this time, let's wait a while more, I'll take the chance to go train a little in the slaughterhouse battle arena, it's been some time since I went there. Slaughterhouse battle arena, there's no challenge there for you. Against higher levels, there's going to be some challenge. Luo Feng smiled, sitting down cross-legged and closing his eyes, his consciousness entered the Virtual Universe Network. Virtual Universe Network, Black Dragon Mountain Island, within one of the battle arenas of the slaughterhouse. It was an endless desert. In it stood 2 men, one of which had green scales on his face, a single horn on his forehead and he had 2 battle knives crossed on his back. He stared coldly at his opponent. His opponent was one dressed in a white battle robe, with silver long hair and silver eyes, a handsome man. 100 blades. The silver-haired man chuckled, you actually dare to battle against someone of a higher level, I will let you know. The difference between a universe level 8 and 9. HMPH. The green-scaled man snorted and this made the silver-haired man's expression change. Rumble, rumble. The green-scaled man and the silver-haired man suddenly became 2 beams of lights and clashed. ... Within one of the quiet rooms of the slaughterhouse. Nuolan Shan, who was dressed in dark green battle uniform, was chatting with another in a grey long robe. A screen floated before them and it was displaying the fight between the green-scaled man and the silver-haired man. Bai Kalou's strength has risen a lot from before. The man in the grey long robe complimented, his eyes long and narrow, smiling as he said. Bai Kalou's talent, willpower and comprehension is the highest and best amongst all my disciples. Nuolan Shan said proudly, even though I have the Battle Axe title, back when I was Universe Level 8, I probably didn't even have his current strength. Such a high assessment, the man in the grey robe said shocked, then you think he can win this battle? He can win. Nuolan Shan nodded. His opponent is a Universe Level 9. the man in the grey robe said. Just watch, Nuolan Shan said confidently. On the screen, the green-scaled Bai Kalou was engaged in an extremely intense battle with his opponent. Strong green winds were circling about. Bai Kalou was almost like a child of the wind. His entire body had become a spinning top, constantly spinning. His knives in his hands became flashes of light, cutting at the silver-haired man. The silver-haired man's form was extremely elegant. White light surrounded his body and his entire being was almost like a sun. He controlled a thread-like spirit weapon and constantly surrounded Bai Kalou. 10 blades. The green-scaled man's expression was malevolent, shouting out. The knives suddenly became 10 beams of light. 50 blades. Another shout. That snow-white light of the knives duplicated even more. Flashes of light from the blades seemed to form a lotus flower, every blade and its reflection like a petal of the lotus. Hiss. The thread-like weapon was dancing about in the surroundings, attacking at Bai Kalou time and again. 100 blades. Bai Kalou shouted. Rumble. An extremely glaring flash of the blades, suddenly formed, almost like a tsunami, one that was formed from the reflection and flashes from 100 blades, immediately swallowing up the silver-haired man. His eyes were filled with shock and fear. He couldn't believe what was happening, and with a crash, his entire body was destroyed. Bai Kalou, the man with green scales all over his face, snorted coldly and vanished from the battle arena. Beautiful. The silver long-robed man revealed an expression of delight as he shouted gleefully. What do you think? I didn't exaggerate, did I? Nuolan Shan smiled. It is indeed beautiful. Your disciple is too powerful. The man's face was flushed red with excitement. His knife skills and wind domain have already fused perfectly together. Also, the speed of the blades get quicker as time passes. The later it gets, the stronger his attacks become, finally crushing that universe level 9 altogether. Right. Nuolan Shan nodded. Bai Kalou's strong point is that as he unleashes this technique and time passes, it would get stronger and stronger. However, his weakness is very obvious. During the time it takes to reach its full power, its strength isn't too powerful. If the opponent takes that opportunity, he would have a high chance of beating him. Haha, don't be too harsh. Your disciple uses 2 blades which spin continuously. And with his wind domain, and his agility, wanting to attack him at the start is hard too. And the moment his blade technique is unleashed, it'll be over. The man in the grey robe laughed. Not bad at all. Can he pass? Nuolan Shan looked at him. No problem. I'll pass this footage to the Lord when I get back. I believe placing Bai Kalou as one of our special elites in the 100 Tiger building shouldn't be a problem. The grey-robed man smiled. Nuolan Shan's smile deepened. After a while, there was only Nuolan Shan left in the room. Peng. 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 There were knocks on the door. Enter. Nuolan Shan shouted. The door opened. A black-robed Bai Kalou, along with the pointy-eared De Wen, entered. Ancestor, teacher. De Wen and Bai Kalou bowed respectfully. Nuolan Shan looked up at the two before him. The black-robed Bai Kalou, with a face full of green scales, made his entire exterior look cold. However, Nuolan Shan fancied it more as he looked. Bai Kalou, I've just arranged with the 100 Tiger building to place you as a special elite to be nurtured. Thank you, teacher. Bai Kalou bowed slightly. Yes. Nuolan Shan turned to look at De Wen. De Wen, you and Bai Kalou should be reaching Earth soon. Ancestor, we are really close to Earth now. I estimate that we will reach in 3 days. De Wen's eyes were filled with anticipation. After traveling for 2 years and 8 months, naturally he was anxious. Very good. Nuolan Shan was excited. Bai Kalou, Nuolan Shan looked at him. Teacher. Bai Kalou replied respectfully. Remember, the first goal of heading into Earth. Acquire that automaton ship. Don't arouse or disturb the armies of Earth, or even that Luo Feng. First acquire that ship. That is the priority. Nuolan Shan's expression was serious. When you've acquired that ship, if you get the chance, get rid of that Luo Feng. Yes. Bai Kalou and De Wen replied respectfully. Go on, I'll await your good news. Nuolan Shan smiled. Bai Kalou and De Wen left immediately. Simultaneously, when Bai Kalou had just concluded his battle, within the slaughterhouse battle arena. Break. Luo Feng looked at his opponent. A golden swordfish formed a beautiful arc, leaving people enticed from its shocking beauty. The swordfish had already pierced through the opponent's head. Crazy. Victory. Break. Covered in the golden domain, the gold swordfish was extremely excited. It jumped around, shook about and waved its tail, immediately forming a beautiful arc. easily piercing through what seemed like an impenetrable defense, right through the opponent's forehead. Crazy. Victory. Break. 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 The reputation of Crazy was widespread within the Black Dragon Mountain Island slaughterhouse. Crazy is a powerful 9-star rated fighter, battling against higher levels in every battle. His earlier self was only a star level 6 spirit reader. He however had already cleared and demolished all within his level. When he stepped into the star level 7, he swiftly reached the 9-star grade and was invincible within his own level. Even when he battled against higher levels, he had a 99% winning percentage. Incredible, terrifying. Within the Black Dragon Mountain star field, there were already many powers taking note of this genius. Whether it was the 4 Leviathans, or the 2 Sacred Lands, they all extended their invitations and hands to this absolute genius. However, this genius called Crazy didn't bother with them at all. It's over, I'll stop here. Luo Feng smiled, vanishing from the battle arena. Mars. Within the ship, sitting crossed-legged, Luo Feng opened his eyes. The slaughterhouse in Black Dragon Mountain Starfield, not much of a challenge at all. Luo Feng exclaimed, "What are you proud of? You use the golden horned beast, with a 4-layer domain, and comprehension of the golden universe laws. You must know, even in the huge axe dojo, like that universe-level death battle, if anyone began to comprehend the universe laws, it would be instant victory. You comprehend the laws and have a 4-layer domain. Even more importantly, your consciousness level far exceeds those of the same level, because your consciousness is that of the golden horned beast. Domain, universe laws, consciousness level, all incredibly strong. What's so strange about being invincible within the same level in the Black Dragon Mountain Starfield? If you want to compete, compete with all the geniuses in the Ganwu Empire, compete with all the geniuses of the universe." Babata can't stand it when Luo Feng gets cocky, so he jumps in to knock him down time and again. Luo Feng grinned, immediately flying out of the universe ship and landing on the surface of Mars. Rumble. In the distance was an incredibly huge beast that was hard to see end to end, covered in black scales, breaking out from the ground. Its eyes were cold and brutal, they gleamed gold as it looked at Luo Feng, after which, the space beast vanished and entered into Luo Feng's internal world. Deity of the world, it's really hard to train. Luckily from the world within a world, I got a shocking amount of wealth and was able to afford all these valuable materials. No wonder so many golden horned beasts only managed to finish the first level with their entire lifespan. Luo Feng exclaimed and shook his head before flying swiftly back into the ship. Rumble. The universe ship took off and left Mars as it headed towards Earth. Earth, Asia continent, China's Yangzhou city. Luo Feng put away the universe ship and headed towards the lower end of the Westlake courtyard. It was about the evening, the red sun was in the west side of the sky, shining down on the yellow grass patch below. On the grass patch however was an extra large alloy stage, on it were 2 boys with knives in their hands, engaged in battle. Rumble, rumble, the air exploded about, their speed alone created sonic booms. Stop. Beside the stage, a bald, simple and kind man with thick lips smiled. There was even a peculiar marking on his bald head, similar to Buddhists with various types of markings on their heads. The 2 boys stopped. The bald-headed, thick-lipped man slightly bowed, their eyes filled with pure respect. Master Dai Fan, it's been hard on you. Luo Feng descended, his boots landing beside the stage. Daddy, Daddy, Luo Hai and Luo Ping, their eyes gleamed as they shouted in glee and ran towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng laughed as he looked at his 2 children. 2 years had passed and his 2 children had gotten even more exceptional. With enough capital to nurture them with the best, along with the techniques from both the Golden Horned Beast inheritance and the Yunmo planet, his 2 children received the optimum training and nurture. Right now, the 2 children were already comparable to advanced-level war gods. This level may seem exaggerated on Earth, however in the universe, it wasn't much. 6 or 7-year-old children with better bloodlines, even without special nurturing, would usually reach the Star Traveler level at this age. How have these 2's performance recently been? Luo Feng smiled as he looked at the bald, thick-lipped Dai Fan. The 2 masters have been working hard, their knifework foundation is very solid. Dai Fan complimented. Daddy, you heard it. We have been working very hard. The 2 children said proudly. Luo Feng couldn't help but laugh. You 2 go play first, I have something to discuss with Uncle Dai Fan. Okay. The 2 nodded and exchanged glances, their eyes filled glee as they headed swiftly towards the castle. To them, to be able to enter the virtual universe and play games was an extremely happy time. There were many other children similar in age to them. Dai Fan, how has your training recently been? Luo Feng smiled and asked. The soul cutter technique master has given me is incomparably deep. I just made a little progress recently, but I still have many areas which I haven't understood. Dai Fan said respectfully. Tell me, Luo Feng said. Please shed some light on these. Dai Fan said respectfully, this soul cutter first level, concerning the spirit reading energy fusing with the blade. Dai Fan asked and Luo Feng answered. Accurately speaking, it was Babata answering. Because the soul cutter technique was an extremely strong technique from the Yunmo planet, it was something the Yunmo master had come across by chance at a historical remain, so there weren't any particular requirements to train it. And the soul imprint technique required him to transfer his soul first. The soul cutter's training experience, Babata remembered it all clearly. Hence when Dai Fan met any problems, Babata could answer and Luo Feng would communicate on his behalf. This Dai Fan. After Luo Feng had finished, he pondered deeply while looking at Dai Fan before him, exclaiming within, I got lucky to be able to buy such a slave. Yes. Dai Fan was a slave Luo Feng had bought, a universe level 9 slave. In the vast universe, relying on the living microchip control technique, one could at most control up to a universe level 9 slave. That was because the moment one broke through to the domain lord level, a domain lord could easily break the microchip within his brain and not die. Hence, the highest level available was only universe level 9. Of which, a universe level 1 slave's price was usually around 10 million to 30 million universe dollars. Comparable to about 10 life planets in price. And a universe level 4 slave was priced around 100 million to 300 million universe dollars. Universe level 7 slaves were priced around 1 billion to 3 billion universe dollars. Universe level 8 slaves were about 3 billion to 10 billion universe dollars. A universe level 9 slave too was about 3 billion to 10 billion universe dollars. As to why there was hardly any difference between a universe level 8 and 9, this was because buying a universe level 9 slave came with risks. Even though it was extremely hard for a universe 9 to break through to the domain lord level, there was still a possibility. One never knew and the universe level 9 slave might just break through. Breaking through to the domain lord level, regaining control from the living microchip. It was very likely that in his rage, he would kill the master that controlled him. In the universe level 9s that broke through and killed their masters out of rage, has happened many times, which resulted in the price of a universe level 9 and 8 not having much difference in price. Dai Fan, a universe level 9 slave, to be able to train until universe level 9, it showed that his talent was indeed high. Back when Luo Feng bought Dai Fan from the slave trader even warned him, Sir, these universe level 9 slaves come with high risks, the moment he breaks through, no one will be able to control him. Why not you first buy a universe level 8 slave? Even though it's one level down, it's much safer. When it actually rises up to universe level 9, you can sell him and you wouldn't have made any losses. I'll buy him. Luo Feng didn't even hesitate. After buying Dai Fan, Luo Feng unleashed his golden horned beast body. Through that body he used his newly trained slave soul imprint on him, ordering Dai Fan and making him unable to resist. As a slave, Dai Fan naturally wouldn't resist. Just like that, Luo Feng used the slave soul imprint and planted it within Dai Fan's soul, deep in his very essence. From that point on, Dai Fan would become Luo Feng's most loyal slave, because this was a loyalty from the depths of his soul. Using the slave soul imprint to control people also affects your soul. Your teacher could only control 9 great undying slaves, hence, you have to value quality over quantity. Babata reminded Luo Feng. Understood. Luo Feng trained the soul imprint technique, carefully reading everything about it and its uses along with its effects etc. Of course he was clear. Choosing a slave, he had to be extremely prudent and cautious. This was because he was controlling this slave via his soul. With the link between their souls, the master could completely control the slave, but the slave could also affect the master. Dai Fan became a slave from early on. As a slave, he trained under very poor conditions, but he still managed to train to this level. I've also checked on his background. He is worthy of becoming one of my soul slaves. Dai Fan, Luo Feng's first true slave. The Nuol and Shan family's universe ship could arrive on Earth at any time, hence Luo Feng didn't return into the nutrition cabin again, patiently waiting on Earth for their arrival. China, year 2065, 28th October, Solar System area. A streamlined ship with an axe head, a D3 grade universe ship, was almost like a shooting star, heading towards the solar system. Within the control room of the ship, dressed in a black robe, Bai Kalou was with the blue-robed De Wen. They stood side by side at the control board. The external image simulator allowed the two to clearly see the beautiful solar system outside. Surrounding that glaring star, planets orbited around perpetually, one of which was a very small and unremarkable blue planet that drew their attention. Earth. Bai Kalou said coldly. Yes, Earth, we've arrived. A smile appeared on De Wen's face. He turned to look at Bai Kalou. Bai Kalou, you remember what teacher said? We'll first avoid arousing the humans of Earth and secretly acquire the automaton ship. I know. Bai Kalou replied coldly. De Wen wasn't too happy with the response, but he smiled and nodded. At this time, within the solar system, on a few scattered asteroids, there were a few of them that were actually installed there. Actually, throughout the entire solar system, there were many installed with surveillance systems. One could say that the entire solar system was incomparably secure. Unless something like an automaton ship with that level of technology arrived, otherwise to go through the solar system undetected, that was impossible. On one of the asteroids that was randomly placed. The signal swiftly captured the scene and was sent to the core of the entire planet's defense and surveillance system, Luo Feng's castle. Signals came in from everywhere. This D3 grade ship was scanned and its image captured entirely and clearly. Earth, China nighttime, about 7 p.m. The sky had long gone dark. The entire Yangzhou city was bustling, the lights glaring, and as the sacred land of countless fighters, Luo Feng's Westlake courtyard was filled with laughter. Luo Feng and his family were surrounding the table and having dinner. Luo Hongguo, Gong Xin Lan and his younger brother Luo Hua with his wife and kids, along with Luo Feng's wife and 2 children. There was also his first slave Dai Fan, altogether. Uncle Dai Fan, I really did train my knife skills for an hour this afternoon, right? Little Hai shouted. Yes. Dai Fan smiled and nodded. Mum, you heard it. Little Hai moved his eyebrows, looking at his mother beside Zhu Xin. Luo Feng looked at his son's adorable behavior. He couldn't help but smile. Suddenly his quantum computer on his arm started beeping. Die. Luo Feng's expression changed. This was an alarm system he had set up long before. The moment something happened within the planet's surveillance system, it would alarm him. Luo Feng looked down and a screen appeared from his quantum computer. A streamline-shaped universe ship with an axe head was swiftly flying through the solar system, heading towards Earth. They've arrived. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. Dad, Mum, you all eat first. I have something to attend to. Luo Feng stood up. You have so many things to do. Luo Hongguo said. Luo Feng smiled, at the same time patting his 2 children's heads, holding his wife's hand, saying softly, Zhu Xin, I'll be going out for a while, probably be back tomorrow morning. Be careful, Zhu Xin said. His family were all clear that Luo Feng would occasionally have important matters to attend to, and times when he would shut himself away for half a month, hence for him to be able to have dinner with them was a rare occasion. As for Luo Feng leaving suddenly, they were used to it already. The only thing was, dinner wasn't finished yet, hence his father Luo Hongguo had to mention it. Dai Fan. Luo Feng gave him a look. Dai Fan stood up too. The two swiftly left the castle. Su. The two rushed into the sky, heading straight towards the air above Yangzhou City. A black disc-shaped universe ship suddenly appeared in mid-air and Luo Feng and Dai Fan entered it, immediately changing into their alloy armors and boots etc. Rumble. The universe ship accelerated and headed straight through the atmosphere, swiftly leaving Earth and into space. Battle. If it were to happen, it would have to happen in space. A universe-level battle, to a small planet, is a disaster. The black disc-shaped universe ship became a beam of light and swiftly pierced through the stratosphere of Earth and into space. Within the universe ship's control room, Luo Feng stood expressionless at the control board screen. Behind him stood his slave Dai Fan. The two had on their alloy armors. They gleamed under the light of the control room. How much longer before they arrive? Luo Feng said towards the screen. A little devil head appeared on the screen. If that D3 grade ship maintains its speed, it will take about 8 hours 49 minutes to reach Earth. 8 hours 49 minutes. Luo Feng smiled, then let's go welcome them. Yes. The entire ship immediately began to accelerate. Even though its acceleration was extremely fast, Because there was an automatic gravitational force adjustment within the ship's system, it made it as though it maintained Earth's gravity force all the way. The ship headed towards the outer rims of the solar system. And the ship that the second ancestor head De Wen and Nuolan Shan's most exceptional disciple Bai Kalou, that D3 grade ship was heading towards Earth. The two were swiftly closing the distance. Within the D3 grade streamline-shaped ship within an axe head's control room. "Senior, have you informed teacher?" Bai Kalou said coldly, entirely dressed in a black robe. "Yes, the head ancestor knows we've reached the solar system. He's extremely happy." De Wen's handsome face revealed a smile. The head ancestor even said, "He will maintain communication and stay on the line in the virtual universe network as he awaits our good news." "Okay." Bai Kalou nodded. Die, die, die. An ear-piercing alarm resounded within the control room. Immediately De Wen's expression changed. "Warning, warning, the surveillance system has detected a universe ship flying towards us. It's heading towards us." A loud and piercing voice resounded within the control room. "What?" De Wen's expression changed greatly. "Universe ship." Bai Kalou was shocked too. The universe was too vast. For a structure like a universe ship, if it were too distant from one's location in space, it was simply like specks of dust. Bai Kalou and De Wen had no way to see with their eyes or discover tens of millions of kilometers away there was another ship with a diameter of 100 meters. The disc-shaped universe ship's control room. Luo Feng calmly looked at the screen. "Railgun cannon activate," Luo Feng said. "Understood." The demon Babata on the screen began its activation. Immediately the entire upper front portion of the ship's surface moved. Below its first layer of energy shields, its alloy material moved and formed an indentation, revealing a silver, malevolent 6 meters wide cannon head. The cannon head began to extend out past the energy shield. The cannon mouth began to make slight changes. Light began to gather at the depths of the tip. The space around seemed to slightly begin to warp. Energy activation, countdown, 60, 59, 58, 57.10, 9, 8, 7.3, 2, 1. Activation complete. The sound reverberated from the control board throughout the entire control room. "Babata, grab the chance and destroy them in one blow," Luo Feng ordered. "Ha ha, leave it to me." The little demon on the screen was extremely proud. Railgun cannon. This was one of the presents Luo Feng had prepared for the Nuolan Shan family army. With the early detection, he had known that the ship was only a D3 grade universe ship. Hence over these 2 years, Luo Feng spent a large amount of wealth, and bought a $260 billion universe D5 grade railgun cannon. D5 grade railgun cannon. Any technological-based weapon that reached the C grade would already belong to the heavenly grade. It was hard through normal routes. Also, these technological-based weapons had very exorbitant prices. Even though he could obtain it from the upcoming auction at a lower price, he couldn't wait any longer. Hence, through a very well-connected with a huge background company that dealt with special items, he spent $260 billion universe dollars and bought a D5 grade railgun cannon. In a galaxy like the Milky Way, to be able to reach the price of $260 billion universe dollars was already not bad. It was obvious that Luo Feng had spent a lot of money. And this was also after Luo Feng had spent a large amount of money before at this place. Hence, they agreed to help him get a D5 grade railgun cannon. Otherwise, without the earlier patronage, this shop wouldn't even have helped Luo Feng get such a high-level weapon. As for the huge amount of money spent before, it was for Luo Feng's training of deity of the world, buying all the incomparably valuable materials. The money spent on those materials was much more than the amount spent on the cannon. Many golden-horned beasts, till death, only managed to train to the first level of deity of the world. Obviously the price and wealth required to train this was extremely high. The golden-horned beast, normally were the pinnacle of sector lords, with 3 separate bodies. Hence Luo Feng could buy these materials through the human world markets. These golden-horned beasts too would naturally create a human body and use it to buy metals in the human market. As for the pinnacle of sector lord strength, the wealth behind it was shocking. However, most was still only at level 1 of the technique. The training of the deity of the world was to allow the golden-horned beast to shrink its body, its bone and muscle density etc., increasing in density too, causing its strength to rise greatly. Normally the younger one began to train, the easier it was. Similar to human children being more malleable in training, the stronger and bigger the body, the harder it was to shrink after. Hence, For a universe-level golden horned beast, training was a little easier. However, even so, to fully complete the first level alone required a large amount of valuable materials, and Luo Feng was still short of 2 of them. These materials were more valuable, extremely rare. Luo Feng had bought these 2 materials at the rare item shop and spent a huge amount of his wealth on them, hence the shop valued this super client of theirs. Thus they were willing to help get him the D5 grade railgun cannon. Railgun cannon. Fire. Within the control room, Babitter's excited roar resounded about space. The D3 grade universe ship had already detected the black disc-shaped universe ship drawing closer and closer. It's a C9 grade ship. De Wen creased his eyebrows. Can we shake them? Master, we are flying towards Earth. They are flying from Earth. No matter where we change our direction to, they'll still easily get closer to us. We cannot shake them. On the screen, the voice of the AI spoke. Also, for us to change our speeds to would require quite a bit of time. Even though a universe ship could reach light speed, it would still require quite some time to accelerate to reach the limit speed, light speed. And for the ship to accelerate or reduce its speed, etc., it couldn't do it immediately. This made it easy for the other side to close in. If we weren't heading to Earth, it'd be easy to shake them. The AI said, "Don't bother with that ship." Bai Kalou ordered coldly, "A C9 grade universe ship cannot affect us. This ship must be under Luo Feng." De Wen creased his eyebrows. "Right now, I'm afraid he already knows we are here. The head ancestor ordered us to secretly acquire the automaton ship. Since we've already been discovered, there's no longer a need to hide." Bai Kalou said coldly, "Continue advancing towards Earth." Bai Kalou and De Wen had only debated for a few seconds. A railgun cannon wave that was hard to see with the naked eye, leaving only a slight wave behind it in space, hit the D3 grade universe ship at light speed. Without any preparation or defense, getting attacked by the railgun cannon. The D3 grade universe ship scanning system, which was only at max light speed. At the same moment the D3 grade ship receives the signal. The shot will have already hit the universe ship. The streamlined ship with a huge axe head immediately got torn a big hole in its side, piercing right through the mid-portion of the ship and exiting the other side, which caused the ship that was still flying at high speed to tear apart with large amounts of alloy scrap dispersing in all directions, making a pile of rubbish within that area of the solar system. From the control room scraps, 2 human silhouettes swiftly flew out. Floating in space. It was De Wen and Bai Kalou. "How can that be?" De Wen stared wide-eyed. "We got shot by a cannon. How is that possible?" The black-robed Bai Kalou raged. "A light-speed long-distance weapon that exceeds the D3 grade? This is definitely a heavenly grade. In price, it's even comparable to the level 5 spirit weapons or genetic energy weapons. Even sector lords normally wouldn't be able to spend such money, buying such a D-grade railgun cannon." De Wen shook his head, his face in disbelief. "On Earth, how can there be a D-grade railgun cannon that even sector lords cannot afford to buy? The D-grade railgun cannon, to a sector lord, even though they could afford it, they still hardly ever bought one. That was because a sector lord's strike alone far exceeded that of a D-grade cannon. And without a sector lord's strength, those that could afford a D-grade cannon were extremely rare. That's not possible." De Wen's face was filled with panic. "Let's not worry about this. Without the ship, for us to fly to Earth would take a good half a year." Bai Kalou said coldly. From the distant space, at light speed a ship closed in. "De Wen, the enemy is here." Bai Kalou communicated via genetic energy. De Wen looked up. A black disc-shaped universe ship swiftly closed in. The peculiar thing was, however, the ship was constantly slowing down, finally stopping a few hundred kilometers away from their position. The cabin door then opened automatically and a human silhouette swiftly exited and rushed towards them. A few hundred kilometers, he closed it in a blink of an eye. This was the bald-headed, thick-lipped, seeming kind and honest man dressed in black armor. So fast. De Wen was shocked. Rumble. A silver arc knife sliced through, so swift the universe level 6 De Wen couldn't dodge, his eyes filled with fear, staring wide-eyed. Tear. His head exploded. Nuolan Shan's second ancestor head De Wen Nuolan Shan, has died. The silver knife's speed didn't slow down at all, immediately heading towards the black-robed Bai Kalou.